Hi, I'm lisa.huendorf, and I'm from the Family Planning Association.
Hi, I'm srodriguez.
And we just wanted to talk about some of the programs that we have available for all of our new coworkers who may not be aware of the education that we do in the community. We work on a grant called the Rape Prevention and Education Grant. It's from the CDC, which distributes it to the Ohio Department of Health, and then we sub-grant through them, and we do community education in Lake County. This works on 5 different levels. We wanted to talk to you guys about it so that there's a couple different goals you might have. So the first one is to not only educate you just so that you know what's going on when you talk to other people about what Signature Health can provide and family planning can provide, but also that way we can potentially educate and work with our coworkers as well. So if there's any staff or supervisors who decide that they want to learn about these topics or teach their staff about them, we can come in and do any kind of education or just kind of a 101 session with them. And then also thirdly, out in your daily lives or in your outreach in the community to bring in potential education opportunities. So if you mention this to someone or if you hear someone talking about they need education in their group, their agency, their teenagers that they work with, dealing with any kind of healthy relationship programming, so that we can try to work together and get new community partners out in the counties that we work with. So the goal of our grant is to prevent any kind of sexual or intimate partner violence by doing prevention work, so primary prevention to avoid it happening the first time. That way we can need less intervention in the future. So the 5 different levels that we work on, the first one, kind of starting at the top and hoping that it trickles down, is policy change. So reviewing policies with different agencies and organizations to make sure they're following Title IX, make sure that it's protecting the staff and the clients and everyone involved on topics, it could be anything, sexual harassment, your employee handbook, staff trainings, anything along those lines. So we're always available to do that, just as a third person outside party to look at policies that an agency might have. The second level is community collaborations, just sitting on committees and coalitions and working with community partners, doing some outreach events, things like that. And then the third one is when we do workplace education.
So as Lisa was talking about workplace education, we go into different workplaces and we talk about sexual violence, and there's a couple of things that we've done, and I've been so fortunate to do myself in partnering with different community stakeholders. So what we do is we establish a relationship and we collaborate with them and then see really what their needs are. From their needs, we'll create a program that educates them on sexual assault and sexual assault prevention.
We could do some other topics as well, including human trafficking prevention, just relationships 101, communication skills, parent-child communication to educate on how to talk to their kids about relationships. Relationships in Focus has been in several different versions around for more than 15 years, working with Lake County students and community members and doing different events.
Another program that we work on is one that targets men and boys in particular. That's something that I myself am heading up, and how we do that is by going through a train-the-trainer model. The train-the-trainer model means that I'm the trainer and I'm training someone who is going to be essentially implementing the program. Coaching Boys into Men is a 12-session program that targets young male athletes. We target athletic coaches because we know that they're the ones that have the relationship with the students. Some of the things that we teach them on so they can talk to their athletes about is about personal responsibility or self-respect, as well as preventing sexual assault, abuse behaviors, and harassment. Another thing that Lisa and I do is we go into high schools all across Lake County and talk about healthy relationships. The program that we pitch is called Relationships in Focus. That program is interesting because we start off with a conversation, getting the students to really trust us. Then from there, we give them the facts, the laws, the skills to really go out there and affect the community. So we give them this base to build healthy relationships, and then they build upon that base to implement it, to be an active bystander, or to know what a healthy relationship is, to know the signs of abuse. And it's particularly powerful because we co-facilitate, and Lisa can share her experiences as a woman, and I can share my experiences for a man.
So some of the agencies that we work with include Kaylee Home, where Children's Services can place children to live in a stable environment with trying to get role models where we go and educate the staff, and we're also working with the teenagers this summer there as well about healthy relationship information. We've worked with libraries to do public displays and education with those audiences. We've done several trainings, each of us with Signature Health clients with the aftercare and IOP groups, just talking to them, getting a conversation started, trying to have the healthy information being passed along. This work can be important. Like I said, we want to hit individuals in the community on every level that we can. So by looking at policy at an agency where the policies directly impact not only the staff but the clients of that agency, then from that policy we want to educate the staff who work with the clients. And then we can also educate the clients directly. That way we're all on the same page with the same healthy information rather than everyone thinking one thing and having a policy that says something different. So we want to try and get these same populations as much access to them as we possibly can. So that's kind of the goal of the 5 different levels is reaching the same groups in Lake County from different angles so that they can have access to that information. So a lot of the students and staff that we see may not have always had the healthiest relationships modeled for them, especially if you look at the media and the song lyrics and the movies that we watch. A lot of times we see the unhealthy side of things, and maybe it has a happy ending and maybe it's a really popular song, but when you look at what they're actually talking about, it might not be the healthiest or the safest example of a relationship. So especially at places like the Youth Detention Center where we teach, and different places where the kids maybe don't have access to healthy role models or someone that's going to talk to them about those things, we want to come in as many times as we can to have that healthy modeling of a relationship and be able to answer any questions they might have, rather than going to Google or to a friend who maybe doesn't have the right information. Not that we're experts and know every single thing, but we will try our best to give them the healthiest information that we can, and along with the laws so that they know what is out there. It also helps, like I said, with educating the staff at these agencies. That way they can continue to be role models, and the coaches with the male programming, because they will continue to see these kids forever, where we might see them a few times a year. The teachers, the coaches, the staff at youth serving agencies can continue to have rapport and build relationships with those students in a healthy way, rather than a one-dose program. When they never have that information again, they might go back to the unhealthy things that they've seen in the past. We do these programs all over the community in Lake County. It has recently expanded to reach other levels. Like I said, we used to only do the school programming, and now we're reaching out into more community members with the adult education, working with college campuses. We work with Lake Erie and Lakeland Community College. We've worked with Signature Health clients, doing aftercare and IOP groups with them. We've worked with Kaylee Home staff as well as their students. John Family Services has had some interaction with us as well. I've done some safety town education where it's for the kids to avoid abuse as well as parents to have awareness and knowledge of these topics. We go into middle and high schools in Lake County as well as the Youth Detention Center several times a year to try and hit them as many times as we can over their public education. We work with community libraries as well here in Lake County, working with the staff and doing public displays in their lobby so that the clients that come in and out can look at the same healthy information. We have a display in our lobby at Family Planning that changes every now and then with some healthy information as well and different resources for people to look at as they're waiting for their appointments. It is a very flexible grant, so we are able to make programming on a lot of different topics to fit the needs of whatever each agency wanted. Like I said, if you have anything that comes to mind, that we might be able to tailor what we normally do to fit a certain group, whether it's a church group or a sports team or a boys and girls club or an agency that you've worked with in the past. We definitely want to reach as many people as we can, and we're excited that we are allowed to do that, to be flexible and use reputable sources but also make things our own so that we can both effectively teach it to different groups. So we are both in the Painesville office of Family Planning. If any of this sounded like something that you wanted to know more about, or maybe schedule a program or just talk about what some of the other activities could be, we can both be reached. We're in the Family Planning location in downtown Painesville. Again, I'm Lisa Huendorf. My email is lisa.huendorf@shink.org. My phone number is 440-352-0608, extension 112.
And I'm Steven Rodriguez, and you can reach me at srodriguez, RODRIGUEZ @shink, or at my office phone, 440-352-0608, extension 122.
We also have a healthy relationship Facebook and Twitter page, so we try to reach the students again on social media, whether in personal or professional. If you would like to like and follow us, that would be awesome. The handle on both sites, Facebook and Twitter, is @RelationshipsIF, stands for Relationships in Focus. So feel free to find that. There's always good information. I do a song of the week every week. There's lots of interesting articles and then just some entertaining memes and whatnot. So again, I'm Lisa Huendorf, and thank you for taking time to watch this video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to either of us.
I'm Steven Rodriguez. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you so much for watching this video.